Also over the weekend, Donald Trump tried going to a college football game, and he was brutally booed when arriving. And it is another one of these instances where, unfortunately, there are people trying to read the tea leaves by listening for boos and cheers at sporting events when politicians go. This is a silly anecdote and also actually brings up some very important issues that I want to discuss. So Donald Trump went to the Clemson-South Carolina college football game. He was indeed greeted by boos. We have the video here. Here's Trump's SUV showing up. You'll hear jeers and all sorts of stuff. This is supposedly Trump country, right? Take a listen. All right, so you get the picture. Trump's sitting in his SUV, there's booing, there's jeering, fine. Not exactly a warm welcome, we can put it that way. But then to be totally transparent, there was some cheering. Here is Donald Trump walking onto the field, and you definitely hear more cheering here. Now, you still hear some booing and some jeering or whatever the case may be. So listen, here's the deal. I don't think it's as simple as there was some cheering and there was some booing and that's it. Because what we have here is we're in South Carolina, which is a red state. You do have an overwhelmingly college-age crowd, which is a group of voters to the extent that they vote, and many of them don't. It's a group of voters that tends to leave to the left. So if you hear cheers in South Carolina, you wouldn't be surprised. If you hear boos among college students, you wouldn't be surprised. You then say, well, who tends to go to the football games? There's an argument that those who go to the football games are more right-leaning. So maybe the booing is, you could play that game all day long. There's another aspect, which is that in South Carolina, you've got a former governor in Nikki Haley who's directly running against Donald Trump. That could play a role in what you hear when trying to evaluate those essentially voting by booing or cheering. My message is calculating the boos to evaluate how any candidate is doing in an election that is still a little more than 11 months away is something you do at your own peril. And we've seen these discussions where right-wingers will see Trump go to UFC with Dana White and whoever else and Tucker, and people cheer and they go, wow, how is this guy going to lose? I think Joe Rogan was talking about, it's just unbelievable. They just love this guy. This guy's a rock star. Most people don't go to UFC, and the UFC crowd is not representative of the American electorate. Similarly, neither is a crowd at a South Carolina football game. So what I would suggest is read nothing into this other than it's a representation of the people who chose to boo or cheer, who were already at the game on this particular day, and say, what I need to do is I need to vote. I can control voting. I can't control booing or cheering in South Carolina. Now, one funny little side note with this, funny reaction to Trump getting booed and then cheered. You may remember this guy, Stu Peters. Stu Peters has put out insanely weaponized medical conspiracy theories, including about COVID and about vaccines and different things. He put out some funny messages. First, he saw that Trump was booed, so he put out the following tweet, quote, Trump arrived to massive boos from South Carolinians at William Bryce Stadium. It's unclear whether the Palmetto State is angry with him over his pro-Zionist policies or his incessant push of the COVID, quote, vaccines. Either way, he'll easily win the fake Republican primary. So that was his first conspiracy based on Trump getting booed. Then he sees Trump was cheered. So then he updates the tweet and says the following, update, Trump was greeted to raucous applause as he walked onto the field. It's unclear whether attendees forgot about his pro-Zionist policies and incessant push of the COVID, quote, vaccine, or whether they just don't care. Either way, he'll wipe the floor of the fake Republican primary with Ron DeSotomite and the two Indians, which sounds about right. Racism, xenophobia, skepticism of medical science, conspiracy theories, and also a hammer where everything looks like a nail. If people booed, here's my analysis. Oh, people actually cheered? Here's the same analysis, just with slightly different framing. That is the epitome of this brainworm's thinking that these people are sadly, it's sad, I agree that it's sad, sadly plagued by. Breaking bad habits can be really tough, but Fume is on a mission to make it a lot easier. Now, let me again remind everybody, our sponsor Fume is not a vape. I would not be advertising vapes. There's no nicotine. There's nothing electronic. Fume is just a small wooden cylinder that delivers tasty plant-flavored air. That's all it is, okay? First of all, people love the flavor, bunch of flavors, crisp mint, maple pepper, orange, vanilla, raspberry, lemon. Okay. There's the physicality of the device. It fits in your pocket, you carry it around, it gives you something to hold up to your mouth. So if you're breaking a bad habit, the hand-to-mouth piece of it is a big deal. Your hands want something to do. This gives you that. It also has an adjustable airflow dial and a magnetic end cap, which you can just fidget with when it's away in your pocket, which is also useful for some people who are trying to break these habits. Just go and read the reviews online. Fume has transformed bad habits for thousands of people. It's a great alternative for the hand-to-mouth habit. Start the holidays off right with a good habit. Go to tryfume.com/Pacman to get the Journey Pack today, which comes with the device and several flavors to try. You'll get 20% off all the way until December 1st when you use the code Pacman. The link is down below.